The Winnipeg Jets win Game 7 of their 2021 NHL season against the Edmonton Oilers by a score of 6-4 in a dominating performance by a lot of different players on the ice, and just a fantastic overall game. And let's talk about it right now, because this is one of the most fun games I've had watching of the Jets season so far this season, just by the fact of how awesome they were playing offensively, with so much speed, with a lot of precision, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. And not to mention the fact that at the end of the night, everything in total, Ehlers, Copp, and Paul Stastny combining for a total of 10 points. You heard that right. And just fantastic to see guys putting up those numbers, especially now that Laine is gone. A lot of people are going to have to step up and try to fill this roster out so we can get an idea of what it's going to look like moving forward into the future. And I think that this was a great game that we got to see a lot of what the potential of this team is going to be like moving forward, because the Jets are scoring at a really good rate. The Jets are playing really good offensive hockey right now, and the best part about that is that it's not even coming with an amazing first power play unit. The first power play this game was garbage all around. That's going to be our first negative standpoint of the game. I did not like the play of the first power play at all. The second power play is where it was at tonight. They were putting with a lot of speed, precision, a lot of great puck movement by every player involved on that unit, and I just love the way that they were playing the hockey. I thought that they were really well coached today too. Paul Maurice did a really good job with his lineups, I felt like, which is something that I haven't really said yet this season. I actually felt like Paul Maurice did a good job coaching this game, because the team was built out not by Hellebuyck or not by good defensive play. They were built out by offense and offense alone. The offense was fantastic tonight by so many players, and I just can't get over how great that was. Not to mention the fact that, in my opinion, the Jets should have even won by more, because that first goal shouldn't have ever counted. James Neal interfered on that play to create that lane for Draisaitl to drive to the net, and if he doesn't do that and get that misinterference call, the game doesn't get another goal, and the Jets just win by even more, in my opinion. But nonetheless, that was just a really big missed call, I felt like, within that first period of play, and that was like the first real area where I got concerned about the reffing, because after that, there were some pretty big missed and if calls, especially within that first period, and I just did not like the way that the refs were handing all these favors out to Edmonton. I thought that like they did that last game, and I was really concerned to see that start at the first game. But nonetheless, Hellebuyck did suck this game. Talking about again with all the negatives like we do at the start, Hellebuyck was not that good today. At the start of the first period, he allowed 3 goals on 8 shots. That is horrible goaltending from a guy who was a Vezina winner from last season, and he needs to play better. That's 2 starts in a row, in my opinion, where Hellebuyck hasn't looked his sharpest, and I'm hoping it's just a little bit of a downslide right now with all the COVID and traveling and back-to-backs and late nights. But nonetheless, it's Connor Hellebuyck. I have so much faith in that guy. Every time he's had a bad game, he's almost proven me wrong the next game, and almost everyone wrong the next game. So I expect to see Hellebuyck in his next game being even more of a dominant presence in the net, like we're so used to seeing from him. But nonetheless, that first period was great. Matty P proving me wrong all game. Mathieu Perreault finally showed that he's not an invisible speck on a roster anymore, and actually produced at a pretty good rate in every area of the ice. Not to mention having a great bar down goal off the power play in the first period. That was a great goal he had there, fed in from behind the net. And nonetheless, I thought that he looked good in a lot of areas of the ice, because he wasn't invisible in the defensive end. He wasn't invisible in the neutral zone with the puck movement. And offensively, he had good touches and made some good plays. And that's all we can ask from that guy. I still think some younger talent like Vesalainen should be looked at for the future. But if balancing Mathieu Perreault and Vesalainen and other rookies is going to be the idea of this season, like it possibly could be with the defense moving forward with Stanley, Sandberg, and Heinola, I'm all for that type of usage moving forward within this season, nonetheless. But yeah, I still think that the Jets had a great game and had flaws in their defensive end, but they still played a good brand of hockey, and this is the more type of consistent play I expect to see from the Jets moving forward, and especially once that Pierre-Luc Dubois gets in. They're playing a really heavy down the middle of the ice type of hockey. The centers are really getting played a lot. You could definitely see that with the Stastny Ehlers goal in the third period. That was a lot of play by him, good drive and patience, and that's exactly what Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to bring to the Jets as well. There's a lot of patience up the middle with a lot of skill and a lot of hard hands and a lot of good puck movement. So because of all of that coming in, I would expect to see even more of the type of offense involvement from Andrew Copp and even Adam Lowry to an extent, who I think will be a third line that gets a lot of playing time, because you're going to have to play Pierre-Luc Dubois on that second line with Nikolaj Ehlers. So having Andrew Copp, Adam Lowry, and potentially even Mathieu Perreault, Christian Vesalainen, Mason Appleton, Jansen Harkins, one of these young, hungry forwards who's looked great to start the season, I think that there could be so much scoring depth now lot more than what I thought originally when this trade went down, now that Laine is gone, because some guys filling his spot and coming in. Andrew Copp showing that he's still a great defensive two-way player, but knowing how to jump in on a rush more, picking his opportunities to be offensive a lot more, and just being a better overall player than it was last season when getting these increased opportunities within the top 6. I felt that Andrew Copp and Adam Lowry, like I made the video and said, they're both going to need pay increases this year, and I think keeping both of those guys is going to be vital to the success of this team moving forward. Our bottom 6 and almost every line of hockey is playing playoff hockey already to start the season. The Jets are looking very, very hungry from all their players, and I'm very excited to see what Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to bring into this offensive, these lineups, and how it's going to shake things up and what it's going to look like with trickling out through the lineup, seeing where this offense could come from in different points now that Andrew Copp and Adam Lowry have finally found the gas, and they're putting on these pretty impressive ways to start the 2021 NHL season nonetheless. Also, I can see that the camera's lagging a little bit. I want to apologize about that. Just a really bad connection right now between my camera and my computer, so I do apologize about that if it's jumping anywhere. But nonetheless, the audio should be crisp, so it's just going to be, me freezing a little bit, so you get to look at my ugly face frozen for a couple seconds there and there, so I do apologize about that. Nonetheless, though, the second period, the Jets really looked like a dominant presence, in my opinion. They just couldn't buy a goal. The Oilers looked that way as well. Both teams were high-flying, a lot of back-and-forth great hockey, and any team could have scored to take the lead at any point, in my opinion, of that part. I thought, again, that the defense looked much, much better in the second period than what it did in the first. Hellebuyck looked better, even though he's still shaky a little bit, looking a little bit, iffy on some saves. Nonetheless, still playing a good brand of hockey, improved off what it was in the first period because he was god-awful in that first. But yeah, that's basically how I would describe the entirety of the second. Not a lot of standout opportunities, just a lot of back-and-forth great hockey, great saves from both goaltenders at times, even though they were both shaky this game, nonetheless, especially Koskinen and Hellebuyck to start the first. But I felt like the second period was just a lot of good old-school back-and-forth hockey. The third period is where it really, really, really jumps in, with Paul Stastny and Ehlers kicking it off with that fantastic goal. They looked like a completely different team in that third period, nonetheless. 3 goals in a row to start it from, and Lowry and Forbit looking great. Another addition, Forbit, like I've been talking about in this game, insane how many opportunities he had offensively, jumping in on the rush, and I can't wait to see him finally get his first goal and get a few more, because he's looking like a great addition. Again, to have a guy like that making $1 million playing this good of a hockey, the shovel day off, thank you so much for that signing. I really do love that one a lot. He's been one of my favorite ads of the team this year nonetheless, and I really like his play of hockey so far. But yeah, 3 goals in the span of 3 minutes and 27 seconds for the Jets in that third period to take the lead, and they really were dominating and flying right after that all game long. A lot of great offense. The first power play looked, like I said, terrible all game, but the second power play, every opportunity they got, they looked more deadly than that first power play, and it turned out to be a 4-point night for Nikolaj Ehlers and a 4-point night from Andrew Copp. Pretty amazing when you think about that. Ehlers has now, I believe, 4 games or 5 games in a row where he has scored. That is insane. That is his longest goal-scoring streak in his career. The Jets are just looking like a fantastic team, and although I'm still bitter because I love Patrik Laine, I'm looking really forward, and I'm really optimistic to what's going to happen when we add Pierre-Luc Dubois to this offense, with especially how great they've been playing. I just think that he could be a fantastic, fantastic get. Looking forward to seeing what happens when we bring him in and how the lineup will look. The Jets today just played a fantastic brand of hockey in every area of the ice. I think that they don't really need to look at changing anything other than possibly subbing out Logan Stanley, who again isn't playing bad hockey, but when Tucker Pullman comes back, and even the fact that Sam hasn't yet to make his NHL debut, Heinola playing a good brand of hockey and then getting sent down to the taxi squad, which I'm completely okay with. I am one who is 100% okay with Heinola spending a year on the Moose, even though I think he's NHL caliber ready. I think having him in the Moose to polish his skills for North American hockey would be even better, but then bring him into the Jets next season and have him in an increased role, because who knows what will happen with Forbit if he stays, and obviously we're going to have to start building up the defensive core a lot more now that guys like Niku and possibly even Pullman won't be around forever. I think that he's going to be a big part, obviously, and I think having 1 extra year in the Moose might not be a bad thing for him. So we'll see what happens there if he gets sent down there, because right now he's just sitting on the taxi squad. Great depth, but who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, nonetheless, I think that other than that, that could be the only real roster change we see happening in the near future. Both the teams and everyone on the teams have looked great, so I don't really think anything changes. Gustafsson looked better today than he did in his first game, in my opinion. Still a little invisible at times, but I think moving around when Pierre-Luc Dubois gets there, subbing him out, having Mathieu Perreault go down to that 4th line, balancing it all out with Pierre-Luc Dubois, I think the Jets are going to look really good down the middle. The bottom 6 is going to be really sharp. The top 6 is going to be unmatched in a lot of areas for the Canadian division, and I really am looking forward to see what the Jets are going to have going into the next few games coming into this homestand and going out after it. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for the support. What do you guys think of this game nonetheless? I think that it was an overall good game by the Jets and a lot of great offense. Not a perfect game, but that third period again being fantastic for the Jets and a lot of great play, solid players from everyone playing solidly throughout the first and the third period. But again, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, regardless of what team you root for, definitely consider dropping a subscription as we're on that road to 1K subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the support and all the recent videos lately. You've been killing it with the support. I really do appreciate it all. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the videos. It means the world to me. Peace, love, and positivity, everybody. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Go Jets, go.